Hello friends, we are going to start with the first chapter, that is summarizing data. This part won't be in the portion of CS1, but this part was included in CT3. With the introduction of the new portion, we have to study CS1, not CT3, but however we will require some concept of CT3, which is also studied in your university HSC, that is nothing but the 12th standard, or in your school. So these we are going to study three chapters of CT3, which are pretty basic and you would be able to grasp. So it is not important to learn, but however, it is important for you to remember what determines what and what is basically what. So that's it. Starting with it. So summarizing data. In the first part, we are going to observe what is summarizing and how we will able to summarize a different data set. So starting with it, the data can be summarized into two parts, that is ungrouped and grouped. According to the ungrouped one, you can summarize each data set into each part. So basically, let the number observed, and this is the frequency. So basically, there are only three numbers here. For example, 3, 4, and 5. We will plot the frequency right here. So let's take an example to know what ungroup is. So basically, this is the data set. So starting with it, we will calculate how many number of times 3 comes. So it comes from for 1 number of time, 2 number of time, 3 number of time, 4 number of time, 5 number of time, 6 number of time, and 7 number of time. So basically, the frequency of the occurrence of number 3 is for 7 times. So we will write it in the ungrouped one. Number 4. So we will calculate the number of occurrence of a single number 4. So calculating it, it occurs 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. So writing it down, it occurs 4 times. Similarly, calculating it for 5. 5 occurs 1, 2, 3, and 4 times. So writing it down, it occurs 4 times. So this is how ungrouped is done. Group is further divided into two parts. So it can be classified as exclusive group, and inclusive group. So what is an example of an exclusive group? Similarly, we'll draw a table related to one group 1 and see what exclusive group states. So this is the number range. This is frequency. So the number range is from 0 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 15, and so on if it's there. So basically what we will do, if number 5 occurs, we won't include in first row. We would include it in the second row. This is what exclusive means. So the word exclusive means that the last number, that is number 5 in the first row, 10 in the second row, and 15 in the third row won't be included in that column, but would be included in the next column, next row, sorry. So let's just see an example of it. So we were able to grasp that better. So there are basically only 6 numbers, which is 4, 10, 12, 5, 7, 6, and 13. So 4 includes from 0 to 5. So we will add a frequency here. 10 includes in this as well as this. So the word exclusive states that if 10 is included in two range, it won't be considered in the first row but would be considered in the second row. So 10 comes here. 12 is between 10 to 15, so it's comes here. 5. Similarly, 5 comes in the second range as explained earlier and similar knowledge from the number 10. 7 comes between 5 to 10. Similarly, 6 comes between 5 to 10 and 13 comes between 10 to 15. So basically a frequency from 0 to 5 range is nothing but 1. From 5 to 10 it is nothing but 3, and from 10 to 15 it is nothing but 3. So basically this is what exclusive means. Starting with the inclusive part. So similarly we will take one range. We will add a frequency column. We would take the same example, but now the range would be much clearly specified. It would be 0 to 4, 5 to 9, and 10 to 14. So basically, if you see, none of the numbers are repetitive. So basically, we do not need to exclude. If number 4 comes, it is included in the first row. If number 5 comes, it is included in the second row. If number 9 comes, it is included in the second row, and so on. So doing it similarly. So for number 4, it comes between 0 to 4, so adding a frequency here. 10 comes in the third row, that is between 10 to 14, so adding it here. 12 comes between 10 to 14. 5 comes between 5 to 9. So these numbers 5 and 9 are inclusive, that's why it is known as inclusive. And in exclusive, number 5 here, number 10 here are exclusive. So that's why this is what the name suggests. This you must have done, and it's pretty basic. You do not need to learn anything. You just need to understand it. So going ahead, we did 5. 7 comes between 5 to 9. 6 comes between 5 to 9. And 13 comes between 10 to 14. So if we observe, if you use inclusive or exclusive, it does not matter. The answer would exactly be same. So yeah, this is what summarizing data exactly means. So we summarize data into two parts, that is group and ungroup. Ungrouped is just a single number. Grouped is specified into exclusive or inclusive. So that's how it's done. We will also look at several diagrams and everything. So what are different diagrams we observe in statistical part? So we observe bar chart. We would observe histogram. We could observe line chart. We would observe stem and leaf diagram. However, stem and leaf diagram are never asked in examination, but since it is included in the past version, I'm just writing it down. The stem and the leaf diagram is completely omitted from the CS1, so you do not need to learn the fourth part. So these are the main charts. However, there are some different charts as well, such as cumulative frequency curve. We will study these diagram in the next chapter, that is chapter number 2 of CT3. It is not included in this chapter. However, we'll just observe what are the different types of data, and we will just observe these two charts, that is the bar chart and the histogram one. Rest all diagram would be observed in chapter 2 of CT3. Cumulative frequency curve, box plot, and so on. Basically, none of the question relating to the graphs, that is the charts, would be asked in the theory paper, and none of the direct question would come in our model as well. So how the question would come? So basically, you have been given a data, you would perform certain analysis of these analysis, you need to make the charts using the R model software. So this is how we are going to use charts. And why I have introduced it here, because you must know the differentiation between each diagram and when it is art. So basically when bar chart is art, so basically when bar chart is asked, the chart must look like this somehow. So basically this is the y axis and this is the x axis. This is x and this is y. In y we are modeling frequency. So let me just write frequency here. And in x we would be modeling numbers. So basically let's take an example of this number 345 with having frequency of 744. Okay, so let's draw this as 5 and this as 10 for number 3, 4 and 5, right? 3, 4 and 5. 3, 4 and 5. The diagram will look like this, but however, first let's plot it. The number of 3 occurs 7 times. So basically somehow 7 is here. Okay, so drawing this like this, 7. Just ignore this is a straight line, you would observe. But since I'm using a pen and a slate and something like that, it is a bit weird, so it's okay. The number of 4 occurs 4 times, so it's here. So basically, this part is 4 and this part is 7. You do not need to plot 7 and 4. This is just for your understanding. However, even 5 occurs for 4 times. So this is what a bar chart would look like. So if you want to differentiate between bar chart and histogram, you can see the differentiation as this. So basically histogram, we are doing the histogram for the similar ungrouped one. So histogram. Similarly, X would denote the numbers and Y would denote the frequency. X is numbers and Y axis would denote frequency. So let me just write down frequency. Okay. So there are numbers 3, 4 and 5. Similarly, showing the frequency as 5 and 10 here. So 3 occurs 7 times. So 7 is approximately here. So I'm just drawing a chart. But the main difference between histogram and plot is it is always connected to each other. So basically 4 has a frequency of 4. So 4 would be connected to the third chart as this part. However, these two would be equal in size, so it doesn't matter. Uh, I just had less space and I did a mistake, so that's okay. Why it's not dropping, man? Oh, leave. Okay, and even 5 occurs for 4. So basically, if you can see, there is a gap in the bar chart and there is no gap in the histogram. That is the two main difference between histogram and bar chart. Okay, going ahead. Basically, we could even use a cumulative part here. So what is cumulative part? Cumulative is the frequency would give you a cumulative answer. So basically the sum, that is 7, would come in the last row. How? So basically for the first row it would be equal to 1. However, for the second row it is equal to this value, that is number 1 here. Let me just highlight it. 1 here and 3 here. So we will just add these two. It will give us our answer of 4. And similarly for the third row, if you can see, it is a cumulative part of this part and this. So yeah, we will add these two, which will give our answer of 7. So if you can see, as I said earlier, the sum of the frequency here would be equal to the last row. So these both are same, 7 and 7. That's how you can prove that your cumulative answer is right. And this would be your cumulative answer. This you must have done in 12th or HSC or something university. It is pretty easy and it is pretty manageable. So yeah, this is histogram, this is bar chart, and this is how we summarize our data. Going ahead, what are the different types of data you observe in reality? So what are the different types of data you observe? So let's just classify this into two parts. So yeah, it can be classified as quantitative and qualitative aspect. This line is a bit bigger. Let me just log and write it down again. We will consider two examples or three examples of each, so you do not need to worry. So quantitative part is divided into two parts. So it is divided into discrete and continuous. So what is continuous, what is discrete? Let's see an example. So basically you can count these. So basically it is similar to ungrouped one and continuous is similar to grouped one. So basically it has a number of 1, 2, 4, 5 and you can basically count these number and give a frequency. However, continuous is between a range. So you could count a range. So it is between 0 to 50. Okay. So why did I take range? So basically between 0 to 50 there are infinite number. What are the infinite numbers? It can be 0 0.00001, 0.00002, 0.1, 0.2. It is uncountable till 50. Basically that was my point. So it is not practically possible to count each and every value. So basically we determine a range where the number are quite small and they are not repeating a several number of times. Therefore you use a range. The range can be determined upon the question, so you do not need to worry about that. And qualitative is basically classified into three types. So the first type is there are only two possible answers. So basically the possible answers can be true or false, yes or no, something like that, and so on. So the second aspect of the qualitative part would be the nominal one. So what do you mean by nominal? Nominal is dependent upon certain types. So basically it is nothing but your name. It can be classified as type of policies and so on. And the third part of the qualitative one can be classified as ordinal. So basically, what do you mean by ordinal? Ordinal is something that you would naturally observe it, and there are only limited answers. So basically, if you see in India, it is a climate of summer, so basically it's damn hot. So you can classify as hot, or in winter in the Kashmir or in any part of Antarctica, it is always cold, so you can classify this as cold. It can be warm, it can be cool, and so on. So basically, quantitative is a number which can be classified as discrete or continuous, and qualitative does not contain a number, but it is can be classified into three forms. That is true or false, giving only two answers: yes, no, true, false, which is written here. Then nominal, which is independent of what the answer it is. It can be classified as name, type of policy, and so on. And ordinal, which is basically a natural or inherent ranking. So it can be classified hot, cold, warm, cool, and so on. Basically, you do not need to remember this. We will be using it in the sums. But it's okay if you do not remember this. It's pretty cool. So yeah. So this is our first chapter of CPP. This was a basic chapter. You do not need to learn anything. You just need to understand this concept. Uh, Basically, you must have studied in a standard university. But if I forgot to just this was a quick brief about what statistics, what basically probabilistic measure, how you'll go about it. These parts would be used in Assam, but it is not important for you to remember. So yeah, that's it. So we are done with the first chapter of CP3. We have not started with CS1 portion. So yeah.